How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which was down 7% on the day. And just like the previous stock I talked about, which was SoFi, we're seeing these mid-cap stocks starting to pull back. Like I said, they have had a run up. Let the profit taking happen. We'll talk about it further in the video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $17.10, being down 7.07%. On the low, it tested $16.86, and then on the high, testing $18.30. So when we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 17.881 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 28.584 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and we also seen a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 43.66. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. We are trading below all of our major moving averages, and it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market. So as far as for what we have been seeing for today, we tested a low of 1686. Remember, we had a strong run up recently, and this is when I was saying you want to be looking at taking those profits, especially when it's around that psychological area at 20 bucks. So of course, since it's been rejected, we are now seeing a downtrend. So going into tomorrow, if we decide to break through 1686, then you want to see support coming in at $16. This is very important here, because if we end up breaking through $16, then there's a high likelihood Lucid will go back to trading in the $14 range. So keep an eye on that. As far as if you're going to be looking for a turnaround, you want to see a reversal. You want to see that strength above the 21-day EMA, which is at $18.30. If it could reclaim $18.30 and we have some support there, then of course I can see it trying to go back to retest the psychological area at 20 bucks. And if we're able to break through $20, that's where I want to see Lucid getting to the 50-day moving average, which is at $21.02, and then it could get very interesting from there. So you guys know what it looks like to the upside, and you also know what it looks like to the downside. Come up with your game plan. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see as far as for the recent filings we have here for the 20th, which is EP Wealth Advisors Inc. that purchased 12,070 shares, and all of the previous ones prior, we've already gone through them already. If we take a look at what's recent for the 24th, just as far as changes, we have Investco Triple Q Trust Series 1 that has a value change of negative 32.23%. And then we also have Ohio National Fund Inc. that also decreased their position by 34.78% as well. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 59.72%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 3.86 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 350,000, updated 19 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 15.44%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume volume, you can see for the close of the 20th, it was at 59.32. And then for the close of the 23rd, being at 59.72. And then taking a look at the short interest percentage of the float, being at 24.25%, Lucid does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see on the inflow is 49.94 million, and on the outflow it's at 55.47 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 0. On the medium, it was 28.21, and then on the small, it was 21.73. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 3.35 million. On the medium, it was 34.32 million, and then on the small, it was 17.80 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for May the 24th, which is today, we had that negative outflow of 3.35 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.08%. So this is a consistent range for Lucid, and it's exactly what you want to see. And considering all the volatility we have inside of the markets and the fact that we have some profit taking that's going on with these mid-cap stocks, I still feel that Lucid is holding up decently well. Now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid when it comes to the price action, so we have the 21-day EMA, which is at $18.30. So if you're bullish, you want to see some strength in this play, then Lucid has to reclaim this level. And upon reclaiming this level, if there's support there, then we can go back to making another test to see if we can get to $20. We know that $20 is a psychological area. Anytime Lucid gets close to this price point, it gets hit with selling pressure. So that's why if you are a trader, you want to add this to your homework. And it's part of the reasons why if you were swing trading it and you see that it's constantly getting rejected and it's having a hard time, that's where you want to think about taking your profits. And if you haven't done so already, and if you're still hanging on to the play, I highly suggest you go back, do your homework, see what you could have done differently, and then apply that to your trades in the future. But as far as from what I'm seeing right now, it's definitely clear we have some profit taking. So the support level that we want to see hold up at least is $16. The reason why it's important for Lucid to hold $16 because if it breaks below that level, it will be testing back into the $14 range, and I want to make sure that is something that you know about. Especially for my long-term investors out there, there's no reason why whatsoever that you need to be adding to your position while this stock is trading close to $20. Wait for that pullback. Be patient. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear in these markets. So that's why I always ask, and I do this inside of the Discord, before you go ahead and buy a stock, where do you see the market going? Right? And where does this stock trade at? So if you see that tech is going to be weak a month from now and so forth, then you want to look at your entry and say, well, you know what? I don't need to buy this stock at the current price. I want to make sure I talk about this because I feel that not many people explain this on YouTube. Also, we went on Fintel taking a look at the recent institutional ownership. We can see institutions continuing to load up on shares, but we also do see that institutions have been reducing their positions as well. And then taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, and there's no surprises there. And that's part of the reasons that when it has a catalyst or we have a lot of buying volume, Lucid could pick up very quickly, and that's exactly what it did. Like I was saying in my previous videos, this stock went down to trading in the $13 range, and then recently trying to make that move going to $20 at the most. I think it got to was at $19.98. So that is just something that you want to keep note of and take advantage of those opportunities when they do arise. So now that you're fully aware of what the price levels are and what you want to look for, whether you're bullish or whether you are bearish, then I highly suggest the next time you push that buy button, you should have high conviction. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.